What we just witnessed between Donald Trump, JD Vance, and President Zelenskyy inside the White House was an ambush. It was a planned ambush designed to embarrass President Zelenskyy in order to benefit Vladimir Putin.
I can't think of a more shameful display by a President of the United States in my lifetime. Is this now what America is? We are reduced to some kind of a extortionary protectionist racket where a leader of a country whose citizens have fought and died valiantly standing up to a Kremlin dictator is so abused.
And then I see this scene at the White House, this spectacle, which should shame every American, the way Donald Trump and JD Vance acted. These are people who bully anybody they perceive to be in a weaker position.
And every time I've seen President Zelenskyy, he's thanked us for our support. I don't know why that's so hard for President Trump to get.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's back to you, far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today,
have you said thank
even
you?
today, please. You think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying.
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President,
You haven't
not
been
only
allowed.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
What we just witnessed between Donald Trump, JD Vance, and President Zelenskyy inside the White House was an ambush. It was a planned ambush designed to embarrass President Zelenskyy in order to benefit Vladimir Putin. That was an embarrassment. That was an abomination. What you watched was American power being destroyed in the world as everybody watches President Trump become a lapdog for a brutal dictator in Moscow. It's got to be hard for Americans to understand how the White House has just become an outlet for Kremlin propaganda. Why the health of Vladimir Putin matters more than the health of democracies. That was absolutely extraordinary to watch. The planned embarrassment of an ally just because it's good for Russia. Nothing about that is good for America. It makes us look like a laughing stock. It makes us look like we do not care about democracy. It gives a green light for Russia and China to invade their neighbors, to unveil a new era of global instability that's terrible for the American economy and terrible for American workers. I met with President Zelenskyy this morning, and he knew that he was going to have a tough job meeting with President Trump. But he was here to try to find some common ground, despite the fact that Donald Trump calls him a dictator, despite the fact that you can't work for the Trump administration right now unless you pretend that the war in Ukraine was Ukraine's fault. All utter bullshit, utter lies. Despite all of that, Zelenskyy still came here because he cares about his people, because he cares about democracy. And what he got was an embarrassment. What he got was an ambush. What he got was something that no world leader, especially a vital ally like Ukraine, deserves. What an embarrassment for this country. What a terrible day for America's reputation in the world.
Is this now what America is? We are reduced to some kind of a extortionary protectionist racket where a leader of a country whose citizens have fought and died valiantly standing up to a Kremlin dictator is so abused, where we stand for nothing but using our might to extort the weak or the vulnerable? Is this where we are right now? Because this is what we witnessed in the Oval Office today. Decades of hard work and sacrifice by our parents and grandparents, all to be betrayed in such a tawdry fashion. If the President of the United States won't defend American allies and friends and interests, then the Congress needs to step up and do our damn job.
I started the day in a meeting with President Zelenskyy, where he expressed his gratitude to the people of the United States of America for standing with the people of Ukraine in response to the aggression and outright brutality of Vladimir Putin. And then I see this scene at the White House, this spectacle, which should shame every American, the way Donald Trump and JD Vance acted. These are people who bully anybody they perceive to be in a weaker position. But Zelenskyy has something that neither of them have. He has courage and he has principle. And when it comes to real bullies like Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump is a shrinking violet. He will just fold as he has. He went into this so-called negotiation by giving away leverage that the United States has. And what we witnessed in the Oval Office was throwing the Ukrainian people under the bus. So Donald Trump is somebody who doesn't understand service and he doesn't understand sacrifice. He's the person who said of Americans who died in combat to protect our country that they were losers and suckers. Well, at the end of the day, it's Donald Trump who is being suckered by Vladimir Putin. And the people who really celebrated today's terrible scene in the Oval Office were our adversaries. People like Russia and Putin, like Xi in China, like everybody who wishes the United States ill was celebrating what the president and the vice president did today. And our allies and our friends, they are more terrified than ever. So it is time for them to step up. I've been saying to our European allies and NATO allies and other freedom-loving people around the world that this is a moment where they need to step up. They have to carry that torch that the United States has carried for so long, at least during this period of time, because Donald Trump is a clear and present danger to our country. He is already taking a wrecking ball to the Constitution and our checks and balances, and he is a clear and present danger to freedom-loving people around the world. So for everybody who cares about democracy, who cares about the rule of law, who cares about freedom, we need to mobilize and stand up together.
I know three things about Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine's a democracy, and President Zelenskyy was elected to lead this democracy. Russia's not, and Putin's a dictator who invaded Ukraine. And last, the Ukrainians have fought bravely and hard for 3 years, sacrificing tens of thousands of men and women. And every time I've seen President Zelenskyy, he's thanked us for our support. I don't know why that's so hard for President Trump to get, but America should stand with Ukraine.